KFOG in the morning with Lumineers, and it is now 8:03. And we've got our special guest in studio. And there it is. It's For Pete's Sake, the theme song that you wrote that was the closing credits
I wrote that song.
The second season of the Monkees, joining us.
And thereafter, all the reruns and everything else.
It's Peter Tork from
That's
the
me.
Monkees. Hi, Peter. Welcome to KFOG in the morning.
Hey, Peter Tork.
Yeah.
This is really exciting for me.
It is exciting. I'm kind of geeked out, actually. I tell Tim this all the time. The very first album I've ever owned was The Last Train to Clarksville.
My gosh, it was the very first album I ever had anything to do with.
Yeah?
Yeah. But you knew that.
I was quite obsessed with it, actually.
Oh.
Back in the day, did you think of
Are
yourself...
you mentally fit? It says...
Actually, I'm not. Did you think of yourself back in the day as more of a music star or more of a TV star?
I actually, my own thinking about I always thought I was a musician, but it turns out that I'm an entertainer who uses music as his vehicle for entertainment. But as to which did I think I was, I didn't actually think either way. I mean, I knew that the popularity was based on the TV show. And in fact, ever since, when the TV show is running, we do well in rerun tours and so on. And when it isn't, we don't. So you're totally TV driven. Mike Nesmith got very much into, the other day, thinking about the fact that when we first came on, TV was like about 16 years old, about the same age as our fans at the time. And that how, what kind of a power the television itself had. So all of that was a lot of fun. I don't know, TV.
Mm-hmm. Peter Tork's with us this morning, and you're on stage tonight at Great American Music Hall. The show's called In This Generation, My Life in the Monkees, and so much more. Photos, footage, unheard songs, performance.
It couldn't be a shorter name, could it?
Yeah. Tell us about the show. What can we expect?
Usually I have the Royal Canadian Air Force flyby, elephants, tigers, that kind of thing. It's pretty much, the title is pretty much self-explanatory. In fact, it's almost as long as the whole show is.
Okay.
There's things that I do from my village days when I was a Greenwich Village folkie, and the kinds of rock and roll that I was listening to at the time, and I even do a Beatles song, and guess what? Some Monkees songs and some originals from other things like that. Lots of those kinds of things.
A couple of quick questions for you. I always wondered, is it true that Stephen Stills auditioned for the Monkees and they asked him if he had a friend that was better looking than him, and he recommended you?
Yeah, they said to him, he was the kid who looked like me in the Greenwich Village stages, and he called me up and said, you got to go try out for this thing. And I said, what about you? He said, well, they think my hair and teeth won't look good on television. And do I know anybody whose hair and teeth would work and who looks like me and who has 1/10 my talent? And I thought of you, Peter.
Peter Tork joining us this morning here on KFOG. The show's tonight at the Great American Music Hall. Jimi Hendrix. Is it true that Jimi Hendrix opened for the Monkees?
Yes, it is.
What was that like?
Well, it was great for me.
Yeah?
Sure. Jimmy was, the thing about Jimmy, everybody, it's like people who have followed him, it seems to be about the noise and something about, the volume. But the fact is that Jimmy was a fabulous musician, just fabulous. His timing was exquisite. We used to go early to catch his act. And so from my point of view, just listening to him carry on and do the things he did, wonderful. From Jimmy's point of view, it was an utter catastrophe. Poor guy, it's like, foxy lady. We want the Monkees. We want the Monkees. Yeah, I think he flipped them off.
How many shows did he do?
7.
Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you, I was doing a search on some facts about you, and I found a little story about your Laurel Canyon house. You had a house in Laurel Canyon, and it used to be a big hangout. People would party at Peter's place, was the caption. And there's a naked picture of David Crosby swimming in your swimming pool in Laurel Canyon. So
I don't know. No, we didn't allow cameras.
So without too much, who were some of the people who were hanging out in Laurel Canyon with you in Peter's house?
Do you remember Eve of Destruction?
Yeah.
Barry McGuire.
Okay.
Barry McGuire and Denny Doherty were the greatest of pals, and they used to come over and float a gallon jug of cheap wine in the pool and slug away at it as time went by. Other than those guys, Steve Stills, again, rented the whole house for CSNY. And in fact, the cover of the first album was taken there, I think, I'm pretty sure. But no, there are no pictures of Barry Maguire. And in fact, Confidential magazine, the National Enquirer magazine of its day, published a photo of a girl crossing her arms across her, but it was photoshopped.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, airbrushed.
All right.
They didn't have Photoshop
Sure.
back then, but airbrushed. And so there are no real pictures.
But there was a notorious party house that you owned in Laurel Canyon.
I don't know how. Yeah, I suppose
Okay.
Yeah, because the swimming pool was actually. There were no overlooking. Nobody else could overlook it. So
all right.
optional swimming was permitted.
All right, we've got Peter Tork in studio.
Not to say encouraged.
You're performing tonight at the Great American Music Hall here in San Francisco, and you're performing some music, and we're going to ask you to perform live for us this morning, for us and our Fogheads.
Yeah, I'll be delighted.
All right, so Peter Tork's going to be performing live next. Stick around. Peter, you want to play a song for us?
Yeah, sure. Which one?
Yeah, you tell us. You're our guest. You choose.
Thank you. Here's one. This on the B side of the first single that the Monkees ever put out is a Carole King song. I was told that they released the single in Hawaii with this as the A-side because the first A-side was Last Train to Clarksville, but there are no trains in Hawaii, so they thought that. Mickey sometimes goes, "Take the last train to the luau, and I'll meet you at the gig. We can have some silly poi, and we'll eat some hot dead pig. Oh no, no, no." But that's not the way the song actually goes. You may be aware. Anyway, on the B side is this Carole King song. This is not quite the way it is on the record, but it's the way I've even forgotten how they do it on the record. But it's called Giant Step. Though you've faded love and lost, and sorrows turned your heart to frost, I will melt your heart again. Remember the feeling as a child when you woke up and mourned and smiled. It's time you felt like you did then. There is no percentage in remembering the past. It's time you learn to live again at last. Come with me, leave yesterday behind, and take a giant step outside your mind. You stare at me in disbelief. You say for you there's no relief, but I swear I'll prove you wrong. Don't sit here in your lonely room just staring back in silent gloom. That's not where you belong. Come with me, I'm gonna take you where the taste of life is green, and every day holds wonders to be seen. Come with me, leave yesterday behind, and take a giant step outside your mind. Come with me, I'm gonna take you where the taste of life is green, and every day holds wonders to be seen. Come with me, leave yesterday behind, and take a giant step outside your mind. Come with me, leave yesterday behind, and take a giant step outside your mind. Outside your mind.
Wow, that is very, very good.
Thank you.
I loved it.
I've been practicing.
Peter Tork, I'm wondering if you're still in touch with Mike and Mickey.
Oh, by all means.
Yeah.
We're going out on the road. We are going out on the road. What I'm really doing here is, of course, pumping my show tonight.
Right.
So everybody come, bring your money. But Mickey, Mike, and I are going to be on the road. I don't know where near here this summer, starting in July. We'll be out on the road for about 5 weeks. And so keep your eyes open, boys and girls, ladies and gents, Monkee fans of all ages, 6 to 60.
All right, Peter Tork, In This Generation. The show is tonight. My Life in the Monkees and so much more. Song, storytelling, and much more.
And don't forget the Royal Canadian Air Force flyby.
Of course.
At the Great American Music Hall.
Yeah, Great American Music Hall here in San Francisco. Peter, it's been a pleasure meeting you and having you perform. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm only sorry it was so brief. I could have gone on for seconds, maybe even minutes longer.
Well, thank you, Peter.
Thank you, guys.
The world famous KFOG.